I am the president of the Sierra Leone Football Association, the only female FA president in Africa and one of two in the world. Football was never a career option, far from it. But coming to think about it, for those who are spiritually inclined and you think you believe in destiny, it was obviously destined to be. My father, a professional banker, was also a co-founder and chairman of what I can only equate to being Manchester United, the equivalent of Manchester United in terms of the long establishment, in terms of the following, in terms of the funding, in terms of the noise, not least, that they made, and their red as well. So he was East, and it was called Eastern Lions. So at a very early age, growing up with my two brothers, there was no other option for me to play. I didn't have any dolls. I didn't have girlfriends to play around with. I had my two brothers. I had my father, who was a football fanatic, and he would take me to the stadium, go watch the matches. I'd sit on his lap. I would be around him with the strategy and the highs and lows of football. Everything about football, in football, I absorbed without even knowing it. It was lodged somewhere in this small frame of mind, waiting to explode in a positive way, I hope now, that I'm doing. So that's the background when people ask, how, why, how come you're in football? My real forte is publishing, which is how I met Kenya, and public relations and marketing. And also my husband and I engage in humanitarian work. In Sierra Leone, I have a breast cancer foundation providing mammograms for women of low income in Africa who cannot afford that early screening. And you know that early detection is very important as far as breast cancer is concerned. So we have one at the government hospital and one at a small clinic in Sierra Leone called the Well Woman's Clinic, which is doing a great job in terms of breast cancer early detection. There is also a foundation I have called the Women of Excellence Awards, and that was born again out of the civil war in Sierra Leone. And as we all know, with epidemics and wars, it's always the women and the children who are the most vulnerable. They suffer the most. African women have an inbuilt resilience and a manner in which they pick up and just get on with things and they move on. And in Sierra Leone, we saw so much of that happening, where women who had lost their children, lost their husbands, raped, abused, just literally got up and started to sort the wheat from the chaff, and they just built and went on. And so often these women are just not noticed, recognized, or even appreciated. And so I thought that we could do something about that. We could recognize these women who, for me, in my opinion, are the real, true women of substance. These are the real women who inspire women like us who have no right really to complain about anything when you look at these women and what they've been through. So there's the Sierra Leone Women Awards, which I've been running, not so much now because it's the same companies you go for sponsorship, and that gets very tiring, as you would know how daunting that can be. And the club, FC Johansen. FC Johansen, again, that was never set out to be a football club. It was just a pure humanitarian venture. Little boys, age 8, 9, 10, 11, in the neighborhood, displaced kids, some orphan kids, having nowhere to go, no food, nothing but football. Football was the food. Football was all that got them going. I would be driving in and out, going to work, up and down. They would be playing football from 9 in the morning to, I kid you not, till 10 at night. No spotlights, floodlights or anything. How they saw the ball, I don't know. And it wasn't even a pitch. It was a slope. It was a hill. It was rocky. So how they raced up and down playing football, I don't know. So, the story goes on and on. I approached them and I spoke to them that you're obviously not in school. You certainly don't have homes. And where are your parents? I said, what we can do is, why don't we strike a bargain? I put you in school and then we'll do the football. And of course they looked at me blankly and they were like, go away. I said, because let me tell you, this sports that you play, I actually love this sport. I like this sport. I can help you with this sport. And again, they probably didn't believe. But anyway, it was a long, slow process, but we got there. I got them in the schools. We got the education going. And before you knew it, I had a club, a small young club called FC Johansen. And it's funny because they started playing their community leagues. And after a while, they decided they had no name. And said, okay, well, we'll find your name. What's the name you want? And they said, FC Johansen. I said, no, it can't be that. Look for another name. They said, FC Johansen. I said, no, you need to look for... And they said, FC Johansen. I said, okay, fine. FC Johansen, it'll be. And that is how it started. It's an intriguing story. It's a very touching story, but it's a real story. It's a story of triumph and success above the odds. It's a story of young kids from nothing, from nowhere, being somebody. I have boys now that are playing in Europe. I have boys that have come from that FC Johansen, come to Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea for trials. I have boys that have gone out and played as a team, FC Johansen representing Sierra Leone and beating teams like Liverpool, Stuttgart in youth tournaments. I have boys that have gone to Real Madrid. I have boys that have been invited by the mayor in Las Vegas to play. And in all of this, what do we preach? So football is more. There's more to Sierra Leone. There's so much more than the cutting of the limbs. There's so much more than the killing. There's so much more than the child soldiers. There's so much more. We preach that through the football. So that was FC Johansen. That was how that was born. Now, back to why am I here? How am I here as the FA president? I suppose with FC Johansen, it progressed from being a 0 division team to 2nd division, 1st division. We stayed in the 1st division for 2 years, and we had an unprecedented run up into the Premier League, and we stayed in the Premier League for 3 years. It's a 12-year-old club. And 2 years ago, the campaign was on for the presidency of the FA. And I looked at all the people that were campaigning. And I thought to myself that, is this all that we have to offer? We're moving on in Sierra Leone. And without having to put them down, I thought, I consider myself to be a stakeholder. Now, in Sierra Leone, everybody calls themselves a stakeholder. My grandmother's a stakeholder. But in my opinion, a stakeholder is somebody who really, really dives into the football and beyond that, who goes into the lives of these young boys. And you help them in so many other ways than just the football, kicking and buying and selling. And I thought that the success that I had with FC Johansen, instilling discipline, instilling integrity, good governance, that wholesomeness, that whole maternal thing, I think. I thought, why don't I try to replicate this on a national level and see how it goes? So that's how I got into the race. I didn't do a campaign. I didn't have massive long manifestos like all the other candidates had. I didn't have to talk. I had a walking billboard. I had a walking campaign. FC Johansen was a template. FC Johansen was proof. That's where she picked them up from. Look at where they are. They were not only a national name, they were international. In fact, a lot of the FA presidents and the people that I meet within FIFA and CAF, they actually know me and my name from traveling with these boys, doing a real Harlem Globe City trotter thing with these boys. They know me and what I did in Sierra Leone for Sierra Leone youth football before I became president. So I thought I should give it a shot. And I won, much to the surprise of many, because they really thought it was a big joke, a woman. She's got too much money to burn. She doesn't know what she's up against, and why would any woman want? Do you know what it means to be the FA president of a whole country, Africa for that matter? So I had all of these things, but I didn't hear these things, thankfully. So I went for it, and like I said, I won. But with the winning came huge, massive challenges. Some of them too hurtful to speak about. Some of them overwhelms me to the extent that I'm almost ashamed to say I actually thought, is it really worth it? But I'm glad that I didn't, because at the end of the day, with these challenges, there was the resilience. And I looked to myself, is it because I'm a woman? Yes. But is it only because you're a woman? No. It's because I want to bring in good governance. That the only way that we in Africa, and not just football, that we can actually grow and develop is by addressing the present. That there is no way you can hope to get to the future, no way you can hope to even dream of being something in the future if you can't address the present and the current. And I think this is what we in Africa fail to realize or don't want to realize. And certainly in football, we could not address the present. And I was there to start taking control of the present for the sake of the next generation, our kids, my son, and the ones after. And I'm happy that I did that. I stood my ground. I still am standing, because we have got some really powerful and positive initiatives that have sprung up on or off the back of these challenges. Samuel Eto'o he just came back from Sierra Leone, campaigning with FIFA for the FIFA for Health program nationwide, teaching health. We've just come out of Ebola. One of our Ebola pioneers, one of the women that fought Ebola really strongly in Sierra Leone, is sitting right here, Yvonne. Yvonne, congratulations. We owe it all to you that we can all smile and breathe again in Sierra Leone. But off the back of the Ebola, now it's a matter of staying alive and staying healthy. We all thank God that we're alive. I stayed in Sierra Leone through the Ebola period, and believe you me, that was a nightmare, a living nightmare, living in Sierra Leone. So we need to stay alive. He has come in. He's promoting a health campaign alongside with FIFA. We've got our female youth leagues now, backed by FIFA, that we're going to start for the first time in Sierra Leone. We've got our youth league. There's going to be the Samuel Eto'o Youth League. There's going to be youth league around the country, youth leagues around the country, teaching education and the football alongside in Sierra Leone. So I'm extremely happy about that. But I think the most important one and the most celebrated one, which I think will go global, and which is why maybe a mem wanted me to be here to share this, is the Power Play initiative. And Power Play is simply this. It's not about teaching young women how to play football or how to play better football. If you're a talented football player and you come in, of course we're going to embrace you and enhance you and try to develop you even further. But Power Play is about empowering African women and girls through football. And how do you do that? Believe you me, football has enormous power. The powers I was just saying to Kenya. Kenya, you have no idea the kind of power that football has, and music. And one day, we two African CEOs, you in your entertainment and me in football, we better make sure that we try to do something for our continent. But with Power Play, that's exactly what it will be. Teaching, first of all, our young girls that there is nothing like a male-dominated arena. There's nothing that will stop you as a young girl, a woman, wanting to come into football administration. I don't play football, but I'm the president of the FA. I'm in the FIFA committee. I'm in 2 FIFA committees. In the Women's Committee, I'm in the World Cup Planning Committee, I'm in the Integrity Committee, I'm in the FIFA the CAF Club License Committee. I'm a woman. It's a big deal, but it's not a big deal. So many more women can come in. You teach women how to be strong. There's so much strength that our young girls can gain through football, mentally and physically, knowing about their bodies, helping their bodies from school, from the syllabus, from football being in the syllabus. So many areas, be it health, be it journalism, be it what have you, you can get into football. And this is what Power Play is all about, empowering our young women even to become politicians, because there is that very fine line between national politics and football politics. I've learned that in Africa, the very same ministers that I'm talking to crying out, for goodness sakes, give me a break. They're the same guys, I'll be talking to them on a football level, and they're the same guys that you'd have to be talking to for national politics. The very same traditional chiefs that I'd be talking to are the same chiefs that are going to be delegates for the national politics. That it's the very same people. So this is what it teaches, and this is the kind of strength that I've developed and the knowledge that I've developed. Power play is in its initial stage. It's just been endorsed fully, officially now by President Hayatu of CAF and of course the whole of CAF, and it has been complemented now by FIFA. So it means it is going to be perhaps, in fact, the first African initiative to be on the calendar of CAF for CAF events. Power play is anything you want it to be. It can be anything. Anything you want to drive it to be, it can be. So I guess I'm taking this opportunity to introduce it to you at its initial stage. You can ask me questions. I can answer only so much because, like I said, it's just been announced, and I'm elated, I'm celebrating about it. We've got to get the blueprint and package it properly. I'm sure we'll be extending invitations to a lot of you in Cairo at the CAF offices, or maybe in Zurich when we do launch Power Play, because at the end of the day, it'll be for Africa, for the African continent, but we will not forget that with football there are no barriers, there's no race, there's no discrimination. So as much as we're empowering our girls there, we're also reaching out to all of you here in Europe. So that's me.
Thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and watch the rest of our talks below.